Good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope by God's grace you all are safe. So welcome to today's online class, subject computer science. So now we are studying about which chapter we are studying? Chapter 4, algorithmic strategies. So in algorithmic strategies, last class before we are going to study about today's portion, just to recall what are the things you have studied in the last class. So in last class 3, our important questions I explained what are the algorithmic techniques. How many algorithmic techniques you have studied? How many algorithmic techniques are there? Two. What are they? Searching algorithm and sorting algorithm. Isn't it or not? Yes. So in searching algorithm, what are the searching algorithms you have studied? Linear search and binary search algorithm. Very, very important question. Linear search and binary search algorithm. So if they ask for 5 mark question means what are the things you need to write for 5 mark? First you need to put the heading. Then you need to write the definition or 3 or 4 points you should write. Then pseudocode. Then example, diagram, explanation of that diagram. Understand? Yes. Yes. How many searching algorithms you have studied? 2. What are they? Linear search algorithm and binary search algorithm. So linear search algorithm is a sequential search algorithm. Binary search algorithm is a half interval search algorithm. Then what are the sorting techniques you have studied? Selection sort and bubble sort algorithm you have studied. Totally 4 algorithms already you have studied. Okay. So today have you all studied these 4 questions again and again? I am telling very important questions. So you can expect any one of these algorithmic techniques from this chapter. Okay. So please study well. Study, write it, then only you will never get forget. Okay. So today we are going to study another one sorting algorithm called insertion sort. Okay. What's the sorting algorithm today we are going to study? Insertion sort. Okay. So this is the simplest sorting algorithm. Okay. So insertion sort algorithm is a very simplest sorting algorithm. Okay. So here already we have stored the particular elements in where already you have stored the elements either in list or array. Okay. Name itself having insertion. So what do you mean by insert? At the beginning of this chapter, I explained in one tabular column. I explained in what do you mean by search, what do you mean by insert, what do you mean by update. What do you mean by insert? So you are going to insert one element in the particular place of the list. That is called what? Insertion. So insertion sort. What do you mean by sort? Sort means nothing but so you are going to arrange the particular elements in the list in any one of the order. Maybe in ascending order or descending order or anything. That is called sorting. So name itself having insertion sort. You are going to insert the element and based on that insertion you are going to sort the particular elements. Understand? Yes. So first you need to put the heading insertion sort. Then you need to write this point. What's the first point I said? This is a very simplest sorting algorithm. Okay. So here how this sort will done mean. So it will take one element from the list. Okay. So first it will take how many element from the list? One by one. That means first element it will take first, second element, third element like that. Okay. So it will take the elements from the list in which order? One by one. And from that element they are inserting the particular element in correct position in new sorted list. Understand? So like that one example is there. I'll explain the example then only you will get understand. Okay. So it will how it will work. It will take the already you are storing some elements in the list. From the list you are taking the elements one by one. And you are going to insert any one element in the correct position. That means particular position you are going to insert the element in a new sorted list. So first one position you are inserting. Then you will get one sorted list. Then again you are inserting the next position. Then again you will get another one sorted. Like that till the end of the list you are going to inserting elements and the particular elements you are going to insert in a correct position and you will get the sorted list. Understand? Yes. So this algorithm, so if you see this algorithm means finally you will get the sorted array. Okay, when you will get the sorted array means particular elements are arranged in ascending order. In at the end of the list only you will get the sorted array. Okay, so this that means at the end of this algorithm you will get the sorted array. Understand? That's the third point. So this algorithm how many number of passes it will require means n minus 1. Okay, so to get the final sorted list, how many number of passes required means n minus 1. That means, so don't get confused, n minus 1, for example, 10 elements you are going to sort. In a list, already 10 elements are there in the list. Okay, so 10 means n minus 1. What's the value of n now? 10 means n equal to 10. N minus 1 means 10 minus 1. So how many number of passes it will require? 9. Understand? So this algorithm require how many number of passes? N minus 1 number of passes to get the final sorted list. Understand? So what are the things you have studied in insertions on? This is one of the simplest sorting algorithm. How this algorithm will work? This algorithm work based on it will take how many elements? One by one. From the list it will take the elements one by one and insert the particular element in the correct position. At last you will get the new sorted array. Okay, so this algorithm, how when you will get the sorted array? At the end, that the final sorted array you will get at the end. So how many number of passes are needed to get the sorted array list? N minus 1 number of passes. Understand? So this is the definition of this insertion sort. So next we are going to study about pseudocode for insertion. Okay, so what's a pseudo? What do you mean by pseudocode? Procedure. What you are going to do inside this algorithm. Okay, so here there are totally 6 steps are there to get this insertion sort algorithm. Step 1, listen. So if it is the first element, that means, so first element, you are going to sort the first element. So that's the important point. If it is the first element, it is already sorted. No need to sort the first element. Let it be there. And in that place, first element, what element is there? No need to sort that particular element. Particular element, that means first element needs to store in the first place itself. No need to start. Okay, understand? So what's the first point for the pseudocode for insertion sort? So if it is the first element means it is already sorted. No need to sort the first element. Understand? Yes. Next the step 2. That means a second step. Pick next element. That means next element you need to take. So first step over. So you are going to take the first element. That element is already sorted. So no need to sort the first element. What's the second step? You need to take the, that means pick the next element from the list. Okay. Then step 3. So if you are picking the next element, no, that means second element. Consider. So compare the second element with all elements in the sorted sublist. For example, so till this place you are sorted 2. Okay. So you need to compare the 2 element in the sorted sublist. Understand? So I'll explain that example, then only you will get understand. Okay. So what's the second step? First element means no need to sort. Then you need to pick up the second element. So then what's the step 3? Compare with all elements with that sorted sublist. Okay. Then, so if the element is greater means you need to shift the element and the smallest element you need to sort at the first. That they are giving, shift all the elements in sorted sublist that is greater than the value to be sorted. That means if the value is greater means you need to shift the value from that place and the smallest value you need to keep at the first. Understand? What's the meaning? So shift all the elements means that means greater value. If you are inserting particular element, no, that value is greater means you need to shift that element to the next place and the particular sorted element will come to that particular place. Understand? Then insert the next value. Likewise, you need to repeat until you will get the sorted list. Okay. So how many steps are there? For example, 10 elements are there. Mean how many passes you will record? N minus 1. That means 9 passes required. At last you will get the sorted array list. Understand? So once again I am explaining the pseudocode. So for the first step, if you are taking the first element means no need to sort. Already it is sorted. What's the second step? Then you need to pick the next element. Compare the element. That means compare with all the elements in the sorted list. So if that element is greater means shift that element to that particular order in the sorted list. So it will repeat until you will get the sorted array list. Understand? Yes. So this is the example. Okay. Listen carefully. If you study this example thoroughly means you can write pseudocode definition everything by your own words. Okay. Listen. So this is the element stored in the list. Consider first thing. First column here. Sorry, first row here. No, this is the element. Okay. So assume for the first element 44. What's in pseudocode? What are the first step? First element means no need to sort. So for that only they are giving assume 44 is sorted in a list of first item. Already the element is 44. No need to sort. Okay. Second step. So compare what's the next two elements 16 and 44. Compare these two. So you are inserting which element? So which one is smallest? 16. So which one needs to become first? 16 or 44? Understand? So compare these two elements. Which will be the smallest element needs to come to this side. Shift to the greater element. Understand? Yes. Those which is the smallest element 16 needs to come at the first. 44 need to shift to the next place. So in this place which we are inserting, inserted 16. Understand? Yes. Okay. Second element over. Then you need to compare the 3. Likewise, step by step you need to come. Okay. Compare the 3. What are the things? 16, 44, 83. So we are inserting which element? Now, third position we are inserting which element? 83. So already it is sorted. Isn't it? Already it is sorted or not? 16, 44. Already it is in order wise only. So no need to sort. Understand? What's the next element then? 7. So compare this 4. Whether this element needs to shift? Yes. Why? This is the smallest element. So you are inserting the 7. So the 7 needs to be come at the first. Understand now? Then compare this 4. So which element need to insert now? 67. So 67 needs to come at which place? 7, 16, 44. Next 67. Next 83. Understand? Yes. Next compare up to this one. What's the next element? So the next element is 21. So 21 we are inserting which element? 21. So 21 needs to come. Likewise order wise you need to insert and write. Understand? Just one time you look at this example. All of you take your books first. Look at this example. What are the things I have explained? Just understand it. Then only you can able to write the pseudocode. Understand? Once again I am explaining. First element is 44. So no need to sort. Pseudocode itself there. No need to sort the first element because it's a first element. So totally how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So how many passes it will require? 8. N minus 1. That means 9 minus 1. How 8 passes means, listen. Whether you are sorting in this first element? No. So leave it that. Next how many passes it will require? 8. Understand? Yes. So first you are inserting the element 44. No. Sort is there. Next you are inserting. That means compare these two elements which is the smallest 16. 16 needs to come at the first. Then compare the 3. So likewise order wise. Compare the 3. Which one will become first? 16. Next here you are inserting 83. Already it is in order wise. No need to insert anything. Next you are inserting 7. So smallest elements always easy to understand means the smallest elements always needs to come to the first. Okay. Then you need to likewise the ascending order you need to write all the elements. That's all. So finally, if you see this element 7, 10, 16, 21, 34, 44, 45, 67, 83. Whether you will get the sorted array list? Yes. So till n minus 1 number of passes, you are going to inserting this one. So each step you are inserting one element. So each insertion you are going to arrange or shift the elements based on the smallest one at the first and the greatest at the next thing. Understand? This is the which sorting algorithm? Insertion sort algorithm. Understand? So how many sorting algorithms you have studied? Bubble sort algorithm, selection sort algorithm, insertion sort algorithm. Very, very important. So compare each and everything. Then you will study. Then only you will get understand. Okay? Yes. So next topic is dynamic programming. Okay. So dynamic programming is similar to in last chapter you have studied modules like that only. Okay. So dynamic programming. So listen, what's the first point means? So this is the similar to divide and conquer method. This word already you have studied in one place. Are you remembering? Divide and conquer. Which algorithm you are following this divide and conquer method? Binary search algorithm. Isn't it or not? Yes. The same thing only. This dynamic approach is also similar to which one? Divide and conquer method. Understand? Yes. So what's the meaning of this one? Divide and conquer means, for example, they have given one problem or they have given one project or anything. So you are going to splitting or dividing particular problem into small sub problems. the same example only I said for your modules also. For example, they have given 200 lines of a code to you. So you are going to split that 200 lines of a code into 10 lines. That means first 10 lines, one module. Second 10 lines, next module. Next 10 lines, third module. Same only they have explained here also. The particular problem they are giving to you. So you are going to divide that particular problem into a smaller sub-problems. Understand? Yes. Then the results can be reused to complete the process. For example, so a final result you need to get, mean for example 200 lines of code is there. So you need to get the final output, means that full 200 of lines code will execute means only you will get the final output. But you are, for your easiness, you are splitting 10 lines. So first, but final output you need to get means that 200 lines of code, till whenever they are completing the 200 lines of code, then only you will get the full output. Likewise, here also the results can be reused to complete the process. The result, particular given problem, the results can be reused. How many times you need to use, as per your wish you can able to use the result to complete the particular process. Whether the same example you say 200 lines is there, only you are going to executing only 100 lines. Whether you will get the final output correctly? No. So you need to reuse that particular thing. Understand? Yes. So why we are using this dynamic programming means to find the solution in optimized way. Optimized way means correct way. Okay, correct way. So another an example I am telling, then only you will easily get understand. For example, you are going to find the average mark for your class students. For example, in your class 47 students are there. 47 students. So you are going to take average marks of this 47, all the subjects. You are going to take 47 students average mark. First what you will do? First you will calculate first roll number 1 mark. Add the 6 subject marks. Then roll number 2, 6 subject mark. Then roll number 3, 6 subject mark. Likewise still roll number 47. So I am telling no. Roll number 1, first 6 subject mark you are adding and you are getting the one result. That is called as what? One sub-problem. Then roll number 2, 6 subject you are adding, you will get one result. That is another one sub-problem. Okay. So what my question is, I need to get the average marks of your class. Your class means 47 students marks average I need to get. Okay. So for that 47 students average mark I need to get, mean 47 individually you will calculate this your average marks means only I can able to calculate whole class average marks. Indeed, that 47 individual calculation we are calling as a sub-problem. Understand? Understand now what do you mean by sub-problem? Yes. So every inner sub-problem dynamic algorithm to check the results of previously solved sub-problem. That means, for example, 47 students average mark I need to get. So if any one mistake is there in any one roll number, means whether I will get the correct average? No. So 47 average I need to take, means 47 students mark I need to add. First I will add roll number 1. Then roll number 2 average. Roll number 3 is average. Roll number 3 is average I am taking, means what's the previously stored result? Roll number 1. Sorry, roll number 3 I am taking means previously mark is roll number 2. Likewise, roll number 2 means previous mark is roll number 1. Likewise, I am adding means only I will get the correct average. So, think this example and study this one, then only you will get understand. Understand? So, every inner sub-problem, so to check the results of previously solved sub-problem. Understand now? Next one, the solutions of overlapped sub-problems are combined in a to give better result. What's the meaning of that one? So I need to get the average of 47 student mark. If I need to get this average of 47 students mark, means I will combine all the 47 students mark individually. Then only I will get the better solution. Understand? That is the meaning of overlapped sub-problems. Understand now? Yes, what are things you have studied in dynamic approach? It is similar to divide. That is a divide and conquer. I am splitting particular thing. Okay, divide and conquer. So, what's the meaning of this one? The given problem is divided into smaller sub-problems. So, whenever you need, you can able to reuse the particular result. So, why we are using this dynamic approach? This approach will give this what? Give the result in optimized way. Okay. For every inner sub-problem, you need to check this previously solved result. Isn't it? Then only you will get this correct result at the last. So each solution, so if you get this better solution means you need to overlap all the problems already you have solved. Understand? Yes. Next thing is steps to do dynamic programming. The same thing I already explained, the same only they have given. Okay. So what's the first step? You need to divide it into a smaller problems, then smaller overlapping subproblem. Overlapping means I said no, that 47 marks together I need to add. That's all. So optimum solution for the given problem. If I get this better solution means you need to all this, I need to add all the sub problems, all the small sub problem, then only I will get the better solution. Okay. So this dynamic algorithm uses one technique called memoization. Okay. Memoization. Okay. MEMOIZA. Memoization. This is important 2-mark question. What do you mean by memoization? Okay, 2 or 3 times they ask for this. I think it's a one midterm exam, half exam also they have asked this memoization. Okay, but this is not a book back question. Okay, let's start it. So memoization is an optimization technique used to speed up computer program. So why they are using this memoization technique? To speed up the particular computer programs. What's the first point? Why they are using this? In where they are using the memoization technique? That like also they will ask for 1-mark questions. Okay, where you are using memoization technique? Where? In dynamic programming. Why you are using memoization? For what? It's an optimization technique used to speed up the computer programs. So if you're typing no particular program, you need to get the result immediately. So speed up the computer programs, you are using which technique? Memoization technique. Okay, so here what's the use of this means? For example, in a particular program you are using one function. For example, so last year we have studied now on are you remembering in structure program? Struct student of what are the things? Int, age, height, weight. Then inside this struct I have given what? Struct DOB of date of birth of. Date of birth, what are the things you will write? Year, month, then date. So this date of birth I need to what? Add again and again. In the program I need to record this data DOB function 4 or 5 times or 10 or 20 times. Okay, so instead of I am typing that function again and again, what I need to do? Just I need to call the function name enough. That's enough. Likewise, in order to take the result, particular result, so you need to store the result in one memory called cache memory. Okay, that means cache result. Particular result you need to take again and again. Same result or same input you need to use again and again. Instead of going to take the result again and again, so you need to store that things in a particular place. That is called cache result. Understand? So instead of you are going the program from 10 lines, first 10th line again and again you are going and taking the result, that's difficult. Instead of that one, you are storing the result in one place called cache memory, that is called cache result. Okay, for what purpose? Same input you are using again and again. Understand what I mean by memoization? So memoization is a technique mainly used for to speed up the computer programs. Okay, so it will use to store the results of which function called expensive. Most important functions calls. In order to take the result again and again, you are storing in which place? Cache result. When you are going to take it, the same results occur again and again means you are storing particular thing in cache result. Understand? Yes. For this dynamic programming, they have given one better example. What they mean by a Fibonacci series. Okay. This Fibonacci series already you have studied in your 11th standard itself. Okay. What do you mean by Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series is nothing but just to calculate the average, the same example. Think that same example. It will add the previous results. That's called Fibonacci series. Okay. So listen. So here Fibonacci series generates a subsequent number by adding 2 previous numbers. So 2 or 3 numbers there. So it will take the result by adding 2 to previous numbers. Okay. Okay. Fibonacci series starts from 2 numbers. So first you are starting from how many numbers? 2 numbers. So 2 numbers means I have given first number is fib of 0. First number fib of 0. Then fib of 1. Okay, so I am going to add 2 previous numbers. That means 2 numbers I need to declare. What are the numbers? Fib of 0 and fib of 1. Okay, so what's the initial value of fib of 0? 0 means 0. Fib of 1 means 1. Understand? So what's the initial value I am taking? Fib of 0 means 0 and fib of 1 means 1. Understand? Yes. So now I am going to, so what's the condition? It will satisfy the previous. That means I am going to add two previous numbers. For example, n. If I am getting the nth result, means I need to add how many numbers? Two previous numbers. N means n minus 1 before number. Then n minus 2 before number. Two previous numbers. Understand? So I need to get the result of a particular number. Means I need to add two previous numbers. Understand? So listen. For example, in this series I have given 8 value. So in this example, first look at, then only you will get understand. Listen, 8 number. First 2, now how many numbers we need to add? 2. Listen, 0 and 1. See what's the value? 0 plus 1? 1. What's the result then? 1. Then 1 plus 2. What's the result? 3. Next 2 numbers. 3 plus 5, 8. Then 5 plus 8, 13. Understand how the answer will come? Listen, 0 plus 1, the answer is 1. Then 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 5, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. Understand? So this is called as what? Fibonacci series. Understand? So this example they are given under the topic dynamic programming. Okay. So dynamic Fibonacci series is generated by how it will generate? By adding two subsequent previous numbers. So two numbers I have taken. What are the numbers? Fib of 0 and fib of 1. What's the initial value of fib of 0? 0. What's the initial value of fib of 1? 1. So it needs to satisfy the following condition. What's the meaning of that one? Particular value I needs to get means I need to add two previous numbers. What are the numbers? N means what's the previous two numbers? N minus 1 and n minus 2. Okay. So this is example. This series generate how many values? 8 values. So just 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 2, 3. This is two numbers you need to add. Then you will get the correct answer. Understand? Yes. Next one is, so this process only we are calling as iterations. So in C++ program already we have studied iterations in where? For loop. Are you remembering in for loop? For I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. What's the meaning of that one? I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 5. So it will iterate how many steps? 5 steps. 8 means 8. Same thing only this Fibonacci series also. Okay. So only they have given Fibonacci iterative algorithm. Okay. So Fibonacci iterative algorithm they are using in which approach? Dynamic programming approach. The same already I explained of Fibonacci series. The same thing they have written in a pseudocode or in algorithm ways they are written. Just read it, you understand. So first you need to initialize to how many values? 2 values. What are they? F0 and F1. So what's the initial values I said? F0 means 0, F1 equal to 1. 2 values you initialized. Then you need to print the 2 values. What's the initial values of a print? F0. What's the initial values you need to print? F0 and F1. Next you are going to calculate the Fibonacci formula. What's the meaning? The Fibonacci formula is fib of F0 plus F1. You are going to add these two numbers. Okay. So why then they are assigning. That means previous things. F0 to F1 and F1 to fib like this. F0 to F1 they are assigning. Then F1 to fib. Okay. That means next two consecutive values they are adding. Understand what are the things they are giving? Fibonacci series F0 to F1 and F1 to fib. That what's the meaning of that one? Next two consecutive values they are adding. So then again you need to repeat the steps from the step 2. Understand? So in this algorithm you are going to generate how many series? Up to 10 series. How many series you are going to generate? 10. See this example. You can understand. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 5, 8. Then 8 plus 5, 13. 8 plus 13, 21. 13 plus 21, 34. 34 plus 21, 55. Understand? So the same thing only here you are going to generate the Fibonacci series up to how many times? 10 times. Understand? Yes, okay. So by this fourth chapter getting over. Okay. So what's the fourth chapter? Algorithmic strategies. By this fourth chapter getting over. Next fifth chapter I am going to start. After completion of this fifth chapter, I will mark the question answers from chapter 1 to 5. Okay. So what's the fifth chapter means? Python variables and operators. So for first 4 chapters, just they have given introduction about what are things you are going to learn. What do you mean by function? What are the things? Algorithm like that. So from 5th chapter only, you are going to study your programming language called Python. Okay. So what programming language you are going to study in this 12th standard? Python. Okay. So The fifth chapter heading is Python variables and operators. Okay, this chapter very important. This chapter is mainly based on your practical. Okay, so if you study thoroughly this chapter means only you can able to do your practicals very well, otherwise you will less. So listen carefully. So listen, first introduction about your language. Which language you are going to study? Python language. Okay, so what's this is the introduction about. So that's the same as the thing C++ you have studied in 11th, no? Same thing like this you are going to study Python language. Okay, what's the first point means? It is a general purpose programming language. What do you mean by general purpose? For designing for softwares or anything, for generally we can use this general purpose programming language. Okay, this language is created by Guido van Rossum. Okay, so read it thorough. So one more question they will ask. So like this C++ also one question is there, who invented C++. Likewise, so Python, who created Python? Who? Guido van Rossum. Okay, this person. From where he was created means CWA, that means Centrum Visquin Informatica. That is one of the research institute. Okay, so research, that is a research in the National Research Institute for which one? Mathematics and Computer Science. That institute is present in Netherlands. Okay, just you read it. This and all for introduction about your language. That's all. So Python is a general purpose programming language. So this language is created by which person is creator? Who created this one? Guido van Rossum. From where he was created? Centrum Visquin Informatica. That's one of the what? National Research Institute for which one? Mathematics and Computer Science. Where it is located in Netherlands. Okay. So this language was released in which year? 1991. Okay, so Python was released in which year? 1991. Okay, from where this language got this name? Python means one of the series, that means comedy series, one circus, that is one comedy series they got given Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, one show, that means one comedy shows or one circus show. From there only this language is getting name as Python. That means what? Monty Python's Flying Circus.